Hello everyone, welcome to the 10th round of the TATA Steel Masters 2023 in Vacancy, Netherlands. And it's another win for Magnus Carlsen against the former world junior champion Parham of Iran. Magnus is inching closer. Now he is on third place with 6 points. Nodirbek is still leading with 7. Next is Greek with 6.5. Both players drew their respective games today, and Magnus kept fighting. Let's check the game by Magnus. Magsudlu started with b4, Magnus went to b5, c4, e6, knight c3, knight f6, takes, bishop g5, and bishop e7, e3, h6. Okay, this has been a trend right now, this h6 move. Bishop h4, and then bishop g4. Okay, one of the practitioners of this line is this Alexis Sarana of Russia. There's play bishop g4, and if white, for example, tries to attack the b7 pawn, queen b3, black will just ignore it with knight b d7. Now let's take a look at bishop takes f6 and knight takes f6, no problem, queen takes b7, just castles. Now you have a problem with the bishop here. Speaking of development, if let's say you put the bishop on d3, rook to b8, if you capture that pawn on a7, rook takes b2. Now, white will try to go knight e2 and castles, we take. If we capture with a knight, we have bishop b4 checks, so white cannot castle. So that's a very good compensation for black. You cannot capture with the bishop here. If you capture with the bishop, this bishop to b4. If the rook protects, someone knight e4 wins. Yes. So that's one of the lines here. Sacrificing b7. That's why bishop g4 is a very tricky move. So instead of queen b3, one more. Okay, queen to b3, for example. Knight b d7. If you just take straight away, of course, it's rook to b8. Rook takes b2. If you play h3, for example, the bishop b4 wins for black. All right, that was it. That's the reason why Magsudlu went for queen a4. He knew that one. That's the latest trend. So c6, Carlsen, bishop to d3, castles. h3, an interesting retreat by Carlsen, bishop h5. If let's say he goes back to e6, then there's knight ge2 and potentially knight f4 coming. Carlsen went for h5. Queen c2. Now, if the bishop goes to g6, white wins that pawn on d6, but Carlsen with a nice pawn break, especially when the king is not yet castled on e1. It cannot castle on the queen side, so thanks to the bishop here on h1. g4. C takes d4, pawn break, takes d4, bishop d6, takes, and takes. Carlsen is this nice counterplay with knight h4. World champion. That's the world champion for you. Of course, you don't take the bishop on e7, it takes a basic deflection, a tactical theme, deflection on knight h4. Queen e6 check, rook f7, nice. Again, if you play bishop takes e7, queen takes, rook takes, queen takes e7, rook takes e7 is a check. Yeah, there's always this tempo with the checky. So Magsudlu had to capture on g4, bishop takes h4, knight f3, queen into f6. If white decides, let's say white decides to castle, just castle queen side, Magnus will just take the pawn in f2, yeah, with no issues. But this is also playable against knight into h3 and bishop goes back to h4 and king b1. Maybe in the future, some will play this in this idea. I'm not sure, but I also like white here. Yeah, safe king, maybe problematic king, some rook f1. But we'll see in the near future. Okay, knight into f3, queen into f6. This is the Carlsen type position. Endgame, the slight advantage. Go for it. Knight c6. Counterplay on d4. Rook d1, rook e8 check. Knight d3. Oh, I can also go king f1 here. Same thing, rook e4. Checking G4, that's right. G4, checking G4. Ooh. So knight into E3, rook to E4, E5, knight B4. It threatens knight to C2 to E3. Yeah, so you could take on G4. E6, Carlsen is not afraid of the pawn because the bishop's keeping an eye on D8. So knight C2 takes and takes. No, Carlsen has this foresight, yeah, that this pawn later on will be quite dangerous compared to this one. Rook D5, not too sure about this. Rook D7, Rook F1. All right, if white decides to play Rook C1, for example, King F7 takes, Rook C4, okay, promote, takes, just check, takes, and white should be better, I guess. Okay, you can take on A7 and King F5. That would be an interesting endgame. Yeah. Okay, this H1 and the bishop. In open endgame, the bishop is much better than the knight here. Masood, I don't know what rook F1 wants this before. Maybe he was trying to protect the check with rook F2. Okay. If you, let's say you check on G2 with rook F2, that was the plan. But Carlsen took the pawn, B2. Why not? Pawn is a pawn. It's endgame. By the way, if what to do? If the pawn, let's say B3, there's always rook B2, yeah, and that one A2, or maybe just king F7, one of king E6. Rook F1, one's a pawn. That's decisive. You don't give Carlsen a pawn in the endgame, because even if material is equal, Carlsen will just still try to squeeze it out. I think this has been a lesson for everybody, yeah, especially Leslie, to fight it out, right? I mean, play until the end. Why draw unclear games? Yeah? Play like Magnus, the world champion's way of playing chess. King F7, King E6. Play to the maximum. 92. If it requires going into king and pawn endgame, why not go? A3, takes A3, simplify, takes, simplify. This is already decisive. We go into the Lucina type of endgame. One pawn is enough. You just give this away. Okay, give this H6, protect F6. Right, does the decision to protect F6 with this pawn. Okay, sorry. Okay, for King B3, this pawn, by the way, protects this E push. Rook F5, no problem. King A4. All right, then we push B5. No matter what, take. One pawn is enough. B4. There's also a cat off. Yeah, cat off. Oh, what was that? Sorry. Okay, there's a cat off here. Yeah, cat off of the rook to the king. So king A4, E5, rook E6, rook takes E5, rook C5, another cat off. Typical Lucina. Oh my. Typical Lucina type of position. Yes. Rook A6, king B3, rook to D6, king A3. All right, B3, king B1, B2, rook A8, and rook D5. Yay! If you put your king to C3, of course, it's king C1, then this promotes to B1. If the king moves to E2, then we can move back to C2, rook C8 check, king goes to B3, check, king goes to C3, we check, and king here. We have the under my umbrella, all right. The bridge. Look at this too. Oops. King too far away from the pawn, 2 squares away from the pawn. Pawn will just promote. So, what a game again. Carlsen type of game. Just minimal advantage. Go to the end game, extra point. Kalas. So Carlsen now on third place with 6 out of 10. Nodirbek still leads with 7. Giri comes second with 6.5. It will be an exciting finish. 3 more rounds to go. All right, thank you guys for supporting our channel, Charleston's Shit and Charleston's Entertainment on Facebook and YouTube. This is Coach Oliver once again. Stay safe, everyone. Have a good day.